What's going to be how's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, brought to you by Dark Fusion Systems, the best for your custom computer needs. We need a custom computer for gaming, streaming, creative, music, business. They'll build the best one for you. Get $100 off your entire bill. Use the code CPPOD at darkfusionsystems.com. Thank you guys. Now let's go to our feature presentation. 3 years ago, we brought the band Witherfall onto the podcast, talk about their brand new album at the time, Curse of Autumn. Now they have a brand new album coming out called Sounds of the Forgotten, which will come out on the 31st of May. But this episode takes one hell of a turn. We really dive deep into artificial intelligence and the music industry and going forward. Jake and Joseph are on, and Joseph has an incredible take on this. You're going to absolutely love this episode. It's a good one. It's a deep one. Let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. 3 years ago, I brought this band on to really get you guys into the album Curse of Autumn, which came out again back in 2021. These guys ended up giving me a sweatshirt after that interview. I've been wearing that thing to the gym, freaking out, the old people in there, because it's fun. And now they've got a brand new album called Sounds of the Forgotten coming out on May 31st. And I thought it's the perfect time. We got to bring these guys back. And one of them has officially, if you're watching the video, become a cat. So please welcome Mr. Joseph and Mr. Jake from the band Witherfall, the podcast. So gentlemen, welcome back.
Hello.
Hey. Yeah, thanks for having us again, man.
It is good to see you guys. It is good having you guys. How is everything going? And let's just say this. How has everything been the past 3 years? Because I haven't talked to you guys in 3 years. Let's let the people know. What's life been like?
Wow, 3 years. Yeah, that was during that was 2021 that we talked, right? I think because that's when we've been promoting Curse. Geez. So yeah, a lot, I guess. Yeah, well, we have this new record coming out. We started working on it pretty much right around the same time that Curse actually came out, because Joseph and I were just always writing. And so within that period, we did that. We did a few shows. We got pretty robbed on tours to try to promote that record with just COVID shit. And then, stuff was still shut down. We had like two tours canceled, one with Evergrey in Europe. I'm sure we were probably actually trying to promote that one at the same time. And then we had one with Moonspell too that fell through. So not a lot of touring, but, we got the new record.
That is true. I was hoping, especially right now with Milwaukee Metal Fest about to happen right before we record this, I was hoping you guys would end up getting put on that bill, because it's been fantastic to see you guys play that live. But I mean, I've been waiting for a chance to see you guys play live at some point in the past 3 years. I know it's got to happen soon.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing in Mexico and then Spain, but we don't really have anything in the United States coming up.
Yeah, which is strange. We did a few. I guess through that time we played the Prog Power Festival, which was that's a great festival in Atlanta. I guess we call it a shout out to Glenn, and because he's been doing that for a while. And then we did a few some shows in LA, and then a couple of other stuff in Mexico at that point. But yeah, nothing. We would love to play Milwaukee Metal Fest. I mean, that's got Blind Guardian on, I think, this year. If I've got that right. There's some festival they're playing.
I don't know. I think it might be that festival, because I know the lineup pretty well, but it's for me, it's mostly day 3 is Slar Travail, Lacuna Coil, Avatar, Bleed from Within, Paleface Swiss, In Flames. Hatebreed's the second day. Mr. Bungle is just oh yeah. And especially for me, it's I can get there in 5 minutes if I really wanted to from my house. So yeah, I was hoping you guys would be on there so I could actually see you guys perform live and then throw some people around the pit, for fun.
That's at the is that the Rave?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's a cool venue, man. I think that's Zeus's buddy Josta that's throwing that on. I think
it is. He tried to get us on, but I think they had already booked everything up, in advance.
Maybe next year, because I'm sure that's going to do very well.
Yeah, because
that's been going on for a while too, right? I think he took it over, because it's been years and stuff, right?
It was a thing for quite a long time. And I think it kind of stopped around 2007, 2008. And then Josta brought it back for 2023. and it did well. So bring it back for 2024, and the lineup for 2024 is just taking a look at, again, the bands that are on there. I mean, they've got, Hatebreed, of course, is on there. You got Mr. Bungle playing, and of course the ones I just mentioned that are all on day 3 that I'm absolutely floored to go see. So there's a lot of people that are going there, a lot of people flocking there. And so I'm pretty sure it's going to be happening in 2025. I've been talking to the Rave about it as well. They're all in for it as too. So if you guys get the chance next year, definitely put your name into the hat or find a way to get on that bill, because then, you can have some fun together.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. We have a booking agent, though.
Yeah. Fucking great. And plus with the Zeus connection, he's good friends with the Hatebreed guys. I think he's done a shit ton of their records, I believe. So yeah, that'd be awesome. If you're watching, Jamie, hit us up.
I'll just have to clip that up and send it directly to Jamie and be like, the guys from Witherfall want to be on Metal Fest next year, so make sure that happens. Otherwise, we might have a little bit of a problem, but who knows? Maybe I'll find a way to run into Jamie at some point this year and just implant the memory in his head, be like, you got to get these guys on for next year, because if you don't, I mean, I'll just basically come up and just tell him I'm Liam Neeson. It's like, if you don't, I will look for you. I'll pursue you. I will find you. And I'll make sure that Witherfall gets on.
What other band is Jamie? He does Jasta, and then, I think Hatebreed, right? So, yeah, I mean, hell yeah, we definitely do it. Especially, I mean, they're doing it well. I mean, those are some heavy hitters right there for this lineup.
Oh, definitely some heavy hitters, but you guys would fit perfectly on the bill, especially looking at who's there, looking at types of bands they get, and just the overall fan experience as well. For people that might not necessarily know who Witherfall is, it's the perfect environment for so many people to come see you guys play live, really get into it, get into the whole entire depth of what you guys are doing, and become fans for the rest of their lives. And then, of course, as so many of them probably would and should do, go to the merch stand, buy a patch, add to the Battle Vest.
Absolutely. Yeah, buy our product. That's all we want. Yeah, no, I mean, that's those are always like great places to, the spot bands and stuff like that. Festivals are awesome for that. Festivals can also be a little stressful for bands because, you don't get a sound check usually unless you're the headlining band. And even then someone will come around and move your knobs and shit and fuck everything up. So it's, 20 minutes of wasted time anyways. But yeah. So it's but there's such good ways to get out. So a lot of people that wouldn't normally see you.
Yeah, so we got to get you guys in some more festivals so we can get all those people that might not normally see you actually get a chance to really get in deep with you and see you. Just because for me, especially, like, there's bands I love to go and see, and I take a look at a festival lineup, and if it's a good lineup, or even I just want to go, I'm going to go. But I know every band that I want to see, I'm not going to see based on time constraints. But there's also going to be bands that I really don't know about that I'm going to end up just checking out their set or running into because they're playing on the stage before the band that I want to go see is playing. Or if they're next to each other, I'm waiting for this band to get done so I can see the band I really want to see. But of course, I'm going to be there and be present in the moment. I'm going to be listening to what you guys got. And you never know. At that point in time, you can make many, many fans based on people that, had no idea you existed. But then now you're going back to a festival, you're playing shows. They want to go check you out. They're going to make sure that they circle the name Witherfall on the calendar whenever it comes out. Like, we're going to go that day. We're going to make sure we get babysitters for the kids because we're not missing out on this.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a festival in Mexico called Candelabrum Metal Festival, and it's like a lot of really heavy bands, man, like black metal, death metal type stuff. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how we're going to fit on that bill. But, we have pretty diverse amount of different songs. So those are always fun, trying to win over a black metal audience with our, ballads. So we'll see how that goes.
All right, how you guys going to pull that off? Playing some ballads for people that just want to kick the ever-loving shit out of each other in the most demonic way possible. I know you guys can pull it off, but how's this going to work?
They're going to burn the place down. What's going to happen?
Yeah, no, I mean, sometimes you just got to be the odd ducks, That's always been Witherfall. So, no, but what our goal is, we're gonna go out there with some of our heavier stuff and hopefully do it, and then, or we'll just go out with all ballads and just surprise the fuck out of people. So, But yeah, I mean, it's that kind of situation too. 2-day festival. Not quite sure if they have two different stages, but you know, I mean, like Exodus is like the headliner, so we're gonna have to go out there with some of our thrashier shit.
But that makes sense, though. You got to take a look at what the festival lineup is and what the whole premise is, and really, you know, especially if you're a band that's trying to do what you can to get the most amount of fans possible to win them over. Take a look at what the lineup is like. Take a look at what the overall experience for the fans are like, what they're really into, and then capitalize out on that, because then they're going to connect with you more because you're giving them exactly what they want in that moment. But then it's like when they check out your stuff online and they check out your stuff on Spotify, they start listening more. It's like opening Pandora's box of what the possibility is, because they're going to find that stuff, but they're going to find out that Witherfall is a lot more than just what they're going to get at the festival. That's more, you know, potential thrashy, good stuff. There's going to be ballads. There's going to be stuff that's going to have a lot more of this elongated, masterful, artistic vision to it than just more straightforward stuff. Don't get me wrong, you can still get some great stuff out of all the others when it comes to that faster, thrashier, just heavier stuff, but you guys have much more of a developed presence than just that to your music that you can really sink your teeth into and really get lost in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we have so many different facets of the band that it's probably not a festival that we wouldn't fit in unless it was like an EDM festival.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. We can get Anthony Jason Beats.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it's funny. We were doing some press for the festival, and we had just released "Where Do I Begin," which is our ballad, one of the two ballads on this record. And one of the people was like, "Oh yeah, it's getting some good, you know, radio play out here in Mexico, so you got to play that one." And we're like, "I don't know if this like '80s rock type ballad's going to go over well to this audience," but again, you never know. I don't know if we're going to be doing that one, but it was requested. So yeah, I mean, like Joseph was saying, we have so many different things that we can shape shift, you know, with different parts of our set.
Which is, again, is a fantastic thing. But the other piece that you guys can always do too is just taking a look at, of course, the songs that you have and the songs you're releasing off of Sounds of the Forgotten so far off as singles. A lot of them are very, very, like, have a much longer runtime. They have, you know, 6, 7, even 10-minute run times. So even if you were to play something off of Where Do I Begin, you could potentially chunk that up into a little bit and make it more of a medley of a couple of songs so that people are getting that. But then you're not just completely taking over that mass amount of time and potentially losing fans, but still catering to those people that absolutely want to hear that song. So you're going to get a piece of it. But of course, everyone wants to go thrashy, have fun, especially given that festival. So you still could easily pull that off in some capacity. I wouldn't say easily, because, you know, it's you working on your own songs. Might be some interesting things you have to pull off of that, but it could work.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite like live albums ever is Live Shit Binge and Purge by Metallica, and they do the Injustice for All medley, because, you know, every song on that one, that's, you know, their most progressive records, super long songs, and they were doing like little medleys to it. We were throwing around the idea of doing that, but I think it was more for like if shit's just going terrible on stage, like we're like, we can't hear anything, we're not going to perform like this crazy part. We're going to have a kill switch and then have that song move into another one. So if you ever see that, it's probably because you know, we're not playing it properly.
I mean, we might have to do that anyway, because one of our songs that's like a thrashy song that we would play is like 8 fucking minutes. So it's like, well, you're really going to, that's like 5 songs for the set. And then 2 of those minutes are like this pit of despair and ambience. So we're probably going to have to do some sort of like, you know, musical treatment for these shorter sets.
Yeah, revised versions. I mean, we've already kind of done that with like Portrait, where we've knocked off, you know, the endings and stuff. So we're totally not opposed to doing that. I mean, it's also a thing too, where, you know, we get some of these, we have 45 minutes to show off all of our, what we can do. And, you know, that might be 3 songs of ours. So I remember seeing Chris Saganias, our drummer, we always joke about when Between the Buried and Me opened up for Dream Theater, they literally played 2 songs. That was it. Yeah. So we might have to do something like that, but so we got tricks up our sleeves.
Just see you guys come out like, hey everybody, what's going on? And then all of a sudden start playing, and they're like, hope you like the one. This is our last song. It's like, you guys just played one song. Yeah, but these songs are, you know, many minutes long.
That's what actually happened, you know.
That's still hysterical.
Yeah. We played some shows too where we were hoping that it was done in 2 songs. Trust me. So yeah, anyways, we've got that coming up, and we've got some other stuff, but can't be announced just yet. So
hopefully it's some US stuff and I can potentially get to see you guys play live because I don't want to have to wait much longer, but if I have to, I'll do what I must.
You might have to fly to Spain to see us.
yeah, or
Unfortunately,
Germany.
I'll say unfortunately I'm not making enough money right now just to go off and do that on a whim. I'm trying, but we'll see what happens. Maybe by the time that happens, I'll have a different full-time job, or I'll be making a lot more money off of this to where I can just say, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna jetson off to Spain or to Germany, see Witherfall play, have a blast, and then who knows? Maybe get lost in the middle of Europe, maybe get kidnapped, and then just stay there for the whole entire time for the rest of my life because, well, maybe it's better.
Spain
who knows?
Is pretty awesome. Yeah, enjoy yourself.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost did that the one time I was over in Europe. I almost decided just to say screw it and just like knock it on the plane and stay in Amsterdam. But had I done that, it'd been like 6 months later and the world would have shut down. And I would have really had some problems to deal with.
Dude, the first time I ever went to Amsterdam as a kid, I did like one of those bike tours, and it was a guy that literally did that. He's like just like his office was out of his like apartment and it was full of Simpsons stuff, and he was just a stoner and he just did like bike tours. But he came from, I don't know, like maybe Wisconsin or something like that, and just said, fuck it, I'm moving to Amsterdam. I'm gonna have my business of riding bikes, and yeah, it can be done.
Why didn't I just follow that guy's lead? I totally could have.
Yeah.
And the best thing, I still could have done this because I can literally do this from anywhere as long as I have a solid internet connection. So I could have still be doing this. I mean, maybe I'd have to stay up super duper late in the night to make sure I could hit everyone's like different times. But shit, when I interview international bands, I have to do that anyway. I really messed up on this one, guys. I really messed up on this because it would have been easier to see you live this year had I done that.
Yeah, man. When we were with Century Media, we used to take phone calls at fucking 2 a.m. Pacific time. I remember on our first record, that was pretty ridiculous, Yeah, but yeah, hell yeah, you can all do it now. You can be anywhere.
We'd probably save a lot of money by moving to Europe, Jake. They get grants, and then we wouldn't have to fly out there for tours.
Sweden, yeah, I hear bands in Sweden. Sometimes I know a few get it. My favorite city ever is Copenhagen, so why not do Denmark? I think they do that too.
Yeah, let's go. Enough of this.
Enough of this. They're going to be going and becoming Scandinavian, but the Scandinavians just absolutely love this kind of music too. So you guys would easily fit right in.
Yeah, we played Scandinavia. We played. We were in Norway. And Sweden. I've never played Finland before though. That'd be a cool one to cross off the list. But yeah, those crowds are pretty tough to win over because they're pretty stoic. So it's like, and they're all really good musicians. So they know when you're fucking up, and they don't really kind of just like, are you guys into this or what? And then they'll buy shit at the merch booth and be like, okay, well, you either just feel bad for us or you enjoyed one part of it.
Well, maybe I'll have to show up there when you guys play Norway because I've always wanted to go to Norway. That's where most of my family's heritage is, so I wanted to visit. But see when you guys are playing Norway, show up, and if everyone's being super stoked, just see the random guy that's like, where did he come from, and why is he trying to hit everybody in sight in the pit, and why is he having the most amount of fun? Now we have to follow along with this guy. Just disrupt the whole entire stoicness of it and just see what happens.
You got to see a concert in Japan. Nobody moves.
Really?
Yeah. They're very polite, man. Very polite. Like, even after the song's done, they'll like, kind of like when you go see a symphony, there's like a little bit of rules. Like, you're not supposed to, clap during each movement until the whole thing's finished. It's like they take that shit seriously, but it's like there's like no moshing whatsoever. At least the shows that we played.
Yeah. Yeah, they literally actually wait a few like beats after the song to make sure it's the end. Yeah, actually, it'd be fun, Jake, is if we like faked them out, like we like arranged the set in such a way that like it seems like the song ended, but then it just smacks into another one.
Yeah, because we could totally just have like a 7/4, like just tack on that on the very end. So once we're finished, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. once they start clapping, fake them out. Yeah. Your chord progression podcast, I was just looking up some Japanese chord progressions actually with some J-pop stuff, because it's, for any of the music fans out there, that stuff's like, those progressions are just endless. It's wild,
Like
We have
video
like,
game.
yeah, we have like the 1-4-5. They'll like it's very actually kind of jazzy. Anyways, I don't know how we got on the J-pop, but I literally want to become Marty Friedman.
We got into J-pop in a beautiful, fantastic way of talking about different cultures and how they go see shows. That's how we did it. But because I never knew that about, like, I never would have gotten that about the Japanese audience or even like the Scandinavian audience. But it would be hysterical to see you guys pull that off, where it's just like you finish, lights go down, all of a sudden they wait a couple of seconds, or they start clapping. You guys just go into like another minute of the song and just have it naturally fit in there.
Well, challenge accepted.
Oh. All right, we're going out to Japan now, everybody, when this happens, because this has to be witnessed live. But even if you guys end up like taking a look at, again, what you said, Japanese progressions and just seeing what they're doing J-pop as well, taking a look at, especially within metalcore, even like some of the other bands that have done a lot of that and become a little more popular, like Baby Metal, Bandmade, just what they're doing with some of those progressions as well, really just taking charge and just adding more of that influence in there. It really creates a completely different feel to the music. It has a lot more energy to it at times. But it's something where I'd be interested to hear what you guys could pull off with something like that, with those progressions, those different influences. Given what I already know what you guys are able to do, I'd love to see just how that would all formulate in and just create something that is potentially beautifully done, but also manic at the same time.
It would be our first song in a major key, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. It's wild, man, because like Marty Friedman, his stuff is so influenced by the J-pop world, and the progressions, they give off, the melodies kind of have to be a certain way, so it always ends up kind of having that sound. So, but yeah, they're mainly in major key. I don't know, you can have sad ones too. It's like the Japanese power metal bands, man. That's just a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, but what happens if you guys are able to take that idea and like mold it into your own, and the next thing you know, you go to Japan, you become like one of the biggest bands in Japan of all time, just based off of trying something completely new and different.
Dude, I would do anything to get back over Japan. Japan rules.
We need to write a rock opera in all those weird chord progressions about kidnapping the Baby Metal chicks.
Jesus Christ.
That would be hilarious. That would be meta.
That would be intense. And then what would happen if you guys did that? It became a success, and then you guys went on tour with Baby Metal throughout Japan.
And then we could kidnap them.
You could act it out on stage.
They could kidnap us. Like, that would be how we get off the stage, is that they come out and put hoods over our heads and drag us off.
I'm trying to think of like
an awesome show.
Like Styx, they had Mr. Roboto, which was their rock opera. And they had this whole idea for a stage show to it. We could totally do something like that and have. Anyways, what the hell are we talking about? This is ridiculous.
Did Mr. Roboto do good? It's so famous, but did it actually like do well? I'm not.
No,
sure
the story was like really fucking weird. Like I don't even know what the story was, but I just know that they did that band. They did that. Dynasty Young was like, we're doing this, idea, this story in this song. And then right after it came out, Tommy Shaw quit the band. So it must not have been that great.
Because we've seen bands do that throughout history when it comes to creating that, like the rock opera, just having that whole entire expanded universe around a song. But yeah, because I was even thinking about Styx with Mr. Roboto. It's like, a lot of people know the song Mr. Roboto, but the whole entire story, I'm like, all I could think of from the story is just, of course, the Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto. Like, that's all I remember from it. That's it.
Well, what does that translate to? I think it translates to,
thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Robot, for saving us. So it's got something to do with that. I don't know, unless Mr. Roboto is a side character or some shit. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I've ever.
Roboto is like, dude, it's probably like some weird sexual position in Japan.
The Mr. Roboto? Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that, or did Dennis DeYoung know something that we didn't know and try to get way out in front of the whole entire AI thing? So if AI takes over, he's considered as like, oh, he already said thank you for saving us. He's good.
Dude, did you guys just see the Apple commercial that just got taken down? Like,
No.
No.
oh my God. It had I mean, so it's supposed to be like doing the new Apple Pro, the really slim version, but it has like a giant thing coming down, crushing like a piano, art canvas, and all this shit about AI. We're not gonna have to have any like AI will take over all of art. And
Wait,
they
they
had to
think
pull
that's
it down.
good?
2 days it lasted. People flipped their shit. Yeah, check it out. I mean, it's gone now, but you can read the story. It was wild. I don't get
fuck?
offended by anything. That commercial offended me being a musician.
I think that commercials just like piss off everyone just based off of the fact that of humanity. It's you take a look at art. Art's not really something. If AI can create this stuff, but that it takes out the soul. It takes out some of the creativity. It takes out the passion that's in there. And when you take out that humanity, you're not able to connect with it in any capacity. If AI like painted Starry Night by Van Gogh, it would be like, okay, might be a little bit more like sleek and suave and whatever, but it doesn't have that human element to it, and it doesn't have that feeling behind it. When it comes to music, it doesn't have the passion behind it. I mean, I've heard some AI music now, and it's like, oh, this sounds cool because it's got like Plankton's voiceover on it from SpongeBob, which I think is kind of funny. But then I listen, I'm like, I can tell this is AI. This just doesn't have the funness behind it. It just doesn't have that like passion behind it.
Yeah, that it's a really weird thing, man. I don't know. I mean, because it's just gonna get better, It's like you could literally have AI write a song, and then you could hire studio guys to go in there and do it and make it real, because you have human element. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be like fuck. I don't even know. It's gonna be terrible though. I mean, it's gonna end up killing off all this stuff because, I mean, yeah, I don't really know how it's gonna be able to compete because it's just gonna get better and better and better. And then what's gonna be the need anymore? Live shows,
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with that at all, honestly.
All right, I got to hear why not?
Because, like, the algorithm, all it's doing for AI is pulling from works that already exist. You're not like, it's already been, they've already said that you're not going to be able to copyright any of this work because it's specifically derivative. There's proof that it's derivative. Like, they're literally stealing people's work to create these like composites. So what company is going to touch that? Right? Like, if you can't copyright it, you can't protect it. Right? You have no real right to exclusive use of the material. So anyone can just use it, upload it, put it on Spotify. It's basically immediately becomes public domain. It's not created by a person and you can't copyright it. That's number one. And number two.
Yeah, well, go ahead.
I mean, it's just objectively awful. You're not going to create, I mean, pick your favorite fucking song. It's not going to happen because of some AI algorithm. It won't work.
No, but what I'm saying is you could be like, okay, I want to have Pink Floyd and this in Pink, the pop artist, and it spits you out some shit, and you're like, okay, I've got that. Let me rework it a little bit. I mean, they're gonna be, and then hire a bunch of guys to go perform that. I mean, that's more or less using it like as an idea creator,
right?
Which,
but like you just said, the fact that they use that as a template.
Right.
Makes it, you can't copyright the work. You already
no, you have to tell anybody
work.
that's it. You wouldn't have to tell anybody. You could use it as a way to like
the blockchain, like all this AI stuff is going to be logged on a blockchain and it's going to be searchable.
No, I mean, you wouldn't put out the AI song. I'm saying that like people will use it as a way to like be like, oh, that's inspiration for a song. Let me change a few things here. And nobody would even know it's AI. You don't have the work of being a songwriter.
People do that now. They have stupid lyric dictionaries to tell them like what words to use. And they have, I mean, like most bands nowadays are just copies of like the top 5 most popular bands out right now. I mean, if you really want to, if you want to offend everyone.
Yeah, I mean, But I mean, it has been going. But yeah, but it's just going to be I don't know. I think it's going to get rid of songwriters in a way, because then people are just going to get used to it and be like, oh, well, that's already there. It'll be this select few, but it's still, if they have a big song that's going to be able to get out there and do it, they will. I don't know. Didn't Drake just get in trouble because this stupid rap feud? He like ripped off a Tupac like line or something in Snoop Dogg, and I think
I don't
Tupac's
know.
family going to sue him.
Who the fuck could get mad at anyone in hip hop, like ripping off anyone in hip hop? Because all hip hop ever was a rip off of other stuff. That's like the genre. That's what it's based on.
The sampling. Well, I guess if you sample like, well, I mean, the whole thing about that is the words. So if someone completely ripped off a fucking Tupac line, I don't know. This is just shit that I read. I don't know anything about this.
Dude, Bow Wow Wow
hip-hop world.
Yippee Yo Yippee Yay is in how many fucking songs? Like, I mean, yeah, like the word yeah starts like 5,000 different fucking, hip hop tracks that have been released in the last 3 years. Like, I don't know how anyone could be mad for anyone like using, any portion of someone else's work in that genre.
I don't know. Talk to Tupac family. They're probably pissed about Tupac getting fucking murdered too.
They're just looking for money, and Drake is fucking the top. Well, who knows for how long? He's the top.
He's in
guy.
trouble right now.
I honestly think it's pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, I want the rap battle to continue. I want to see what else comes out about it.
I do
Dude,
too.
please keep it going. I want to see him dragged out of there in handcuffs for diddling.
I wasn't around for the 90s rap battle. I mean, that was a real rap battle because, of course, Tupac and Biggie both got killed. But
yeah, they were shooting at each other.
Yeah,
that was more than a rap battle.
Yeah, I was just straight up battle.
Battle.
Yeah, I'll say this is a legit battle. Today, it's like the legit battle just happens on Twitter when people whatever. Oh, he said this and it means this type thing, and
he's trying to get the other one canceled.
Yeah.
So
the whole thing's fucking ridiculous.
I bet it's all fucking staged. That's the whole thing. And then they'll come together and be like, yeah, look, we have 10 songs now. We're putting out here's our record. And then it's going to fucking sell like hotcakes or be streamed. It already is. Someone's already making a shit ton of money off of this stuff. Or how much money you can make off streams, It's another argument.
I'll say it's a whole other argument. But I did like, Joseph, what you said about like when it comes to, AI, and it comes to the fact that, if people are taking that as inspiration or trying to use that as like a template to build off of, especially if you're building off of, let's say, using ChatGPT, there's going to be some on the blockchain that's going to have that record of that. Even if you tweak it a little bit, you're going to be able to enter that into a fucking database, and it's going to end up pulling up the whole entire bit of it in search. And at that point in time, now essentially your song, it becomes public domain. It becomes irrelevant in terms of what you can create off it, because it's already been created by something else, and that something else is not a human entity. It's artificial. So there's going to be, so it's like you can't make money directly off that, but people could put that song in movies. People could put that song in TV shows, use it as a sample for whatever they wanted. And they don't have to pay you a damn cent for it because it was not originally yours. The problem, though, comes in, though, is what happens if, over time, copyright law changes, and if you create something via AI and it's just because you're the one that thought of typing in whatever it is to have that come out, if you end up getting the rights for that property just because it's, not coming from directly from somebody, it's coming from a computer program. That could possibly happen, but then that would just completely destroy any kind of creative artwork, because now there is no there's no need to try, basically.
The way that the algorithms work now for AI is it directly pulls from audio and text sources that are already copywritten works. So it cannot, US copyright law would be destroyed, and none of these companies are going to let that happen. Because the only way it would work is if they changed how the algorithm worked, and you actually had machine learning where it could go and listen to Stairway to Heaven or whatever the fuck you put in. I want classic rock with high tenor vocals, right? That's a ballad that changes to, depict Stairway to Heaven with prompts. And then it would have to listen to things like that and read text. And then it would have to reflect on it and then output something that's nothing like that, but is influenced by that. And if you can fucking program that, then you know what, like you could
I
just
think
control
that's
the
coming.
world.
I think that's
it's
coming.
not that simple. It's not
Well,
that
no, of
simple.
course not. But how is any of this simple at all? Years ago, thinking about it, like I
This
think
is
it can go to that way.
modern AI stuff, like what is that, Huidi or whatever the fuck it is, or Chat GPT,
Mhm.
or the image generator that we were like fucking around with for a while. Like that's basically no more than a web crawler with like a back end like way to take stuff that it crawls and then create whatever like media that it's made for. All it is crawling the web.
Yeah,
and
it's like
making
a better form of Google or like a
it
Twitter.
is. It's like Google with an output. That's all this is. It's nothing crazy. But the other thing, like to your point, Jake, this whole like songwriters aren't going to be replaced, because even if you go like what our friend Don is doing, and he's like putting in, give me a country song, and he puts in lyrics, and then he's still, whoever's like using that as an inspiration to finish the song, they still have to be a good fucking songwriter even to finish the song. Like it's not going to be like hacks that don't know what an A minor chord is. Haha, A minor. It's not like they're going to be able to like finish off this great fucking song. You still have to have people that know what they're doing, and most people that know what they're doing are not going to be fucking around with this.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think that
Well,
if
they
the
won't.
price is right, someone will be like, some fucking teeny bopper will be like, oh, look at this song, and then the studio guys would be like, okay, well, change a little bit here, and then boom, and then I think that's totally how it's going to go down. And if in 5 years from now, people will be like, oh yeah, I came up with this song because I was fucking around in Tahiti and I wanted to fucking have Pink Floyd and Pink make a song, and then that was the inspiration, and Chat, you did that, and then but they'll still get a credit because they'll be like, oh yeah, I figured out the ending to it, and who even the fuck knows? I don't know. I mean, maybe people have been doing this for a while now, so if it's just using it as inspiration, take Don's example with the country stuff. If he just gets someone in there to go do it, I mean, he doesn't have to say Chat GPT did that for him,
When you license a track, it's going to ask you. It's going to ask you, and he's not going to be able to put it on any fucking, he's not going to be able to sync it. It doesn't matter who plays on it. It's the origination of the work is what matters.
Yeah, but with a country tune like that, it's all the same four chords. It's not J-pop.
Yeah, I mean, but so is Knocking on Heaven's Door is fucking 3 chords and some rambling, but that doesn't mean that it's not a copyrightable work because someone put it down from their brain.
Yeah, but they can still copyright it though if they got the inspiration from Chat or whatever, AI, and then they went and recorded it. They'll just say, "Oh, yeah, no, I came up with all this shit."
Not if it's substantially similar to what they're.
Well, yeah, of course, but I mean, then that's just ripping the shit off. I mean, I'm not talking about that.
Like I said, man, like there's plenty of artists that should be sued for fucking copyright infringement. That especially in the modern metal genre. Jesus, it's like all the same shit.
Well, yeah. Well, you can't copyright notes and chord progressions, unfortunately. Actually, we'd all be fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, especially from our standpoint as listeners of music and lovers of music, you can listen to something, you can easily tell it's like, oh, this band took this from this, especially if you love the band that they end up taking it from. Because there's some aspects, like I remember back in like 2018 when Architects released the Holy Hell album and then the Doomsday riff, it was like every other band decided to come up with their own version of the Doomsday riff. And every time you heard it, you instantly knew it's like, oh, they got that from Architects, and then all the songs started to sound the same based off of that. And it's like, shit, Architect should probably get some residuals just based off of that, because your whole
Yeah,
song is
well-
based off of that single riff that they came up with back in 2017.
Right.
Well,
That
yeah,
always
I mean,
happens.
that stuff happened. Well, yeah, but I mean, like, what was the thing with, was it Sam Smith that was "I Won't Back Down"? Tom Petty became a songwriter on it because the verse was almost the
Well,
melody of the chorus. I mean, that shit happens all the time too.
Yeah, it wasn't that similar, but what they were worried about was getting sued into oblivion by Tom Petty's massive fucking machine.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I would too. But I mean, fucking Zeppelin, you know, you listen to some of those ones where they flat out ripped off some of those blues stuff. I mean, for sure.
Right.
If they A/B it, but you know how you're gonna fucking beat Zeppelin, you know? They'll just
Yeah.
keep it going forever. You'll be fucked.
Like it's pretty clear. It's like, you know, if you take inspiration from it, it's like it feels like this, but when you can absolutely tell, it's like you literally took this part and used it in the exact same kind of style. That's where everyone gets like, okay, now we're seeing that. And that's, I think, I know exactly where Joseph, you're coming with AI, just because it does just right now look at what is the past. It takes a
Yep.
look at what exists and it builds off of that directly. So you're getting a lot of those direct pieces, direct lyrical ideas, direct lyrics, even direct progressions from these other songs,
Not-
because that's what the AI is looking for to make it sound like. But to Jake's perspective, we've seen the increase in technology. We've seen it evolve over so many years. I mean, I think about when I was like a little kid, I thought the most technologically advanced thing was my Nintendo 64. Now that's clearly not the case, because that thing couldn't even get on the internet. But in the next 5 to 10 years, what's that going to look like? Is machine learning going to become its own thing, where whoever created the program that runs off it can take whatever is the actual creation of it and then use that as their intellectual property, just based on the fact that they created it? And then when it comes to songwriting, even if you just tweak it, or just I have to finish it, like you brought up, Joseph, because no, it's going to take a creative, it's going to take someone that really understands that craft to finish that song or really tweak it to make it as good as it is. But if the core was built off of machine learned AI, then who gets the rights to it? And who gets the residuals to it?
It's beyond that, man. You're talking about a sentient fucking algorithm at this point, because it would have to take in all of that data and then have like an emotional response to you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And by the way, it's worse than people think. People think that it's just taking like the notes and the progressions and you know, bringing it in as MIDI and then reformatting it and re-rendering it. It's not doing that at all. It's literally taking samples. It's doing the same thing that like some of the programs that you use in DAWs now, like you can take your voice and then re-output it as like a bass, but it's taking that audio. It's using that audio. Those vocals aren't coming from some MIDI vocal like machine. There's no such thing. Like there's simple ones for like oohs and ahs and stuff like that, but there's no like MIDI program that lets you like play guitar, type in some words, and then it gives you like a melody line with a voice. It doesn't do that. It's actually taking voices and then synthesizing them all together. Like that's how these work. It'd be one thing if it was just like a synth, right? Like it's taking like melodies and genre like tropes that it hears, and then bringing that in, transforming it into MIDI, and then re-rendering it out in its own original thing. But it's not. It's actually taking samples. Like if you want to think of it that way, it's taking audio samples and using them in a new recording, which is a big fucking problem.
Well, yeah, I agree 100% with that.
Yeah, and it doesn't
I mean,
attribute.
But what I'm saying is, like, don't you think that if they've gotten this far with it, where you know, an AI is able to do that, and what if it can learn to create by itself? I mean,
Then we're slaves anyway. We're all slaves anyway, because that fucking thing will like control us, like the Terminator, like the Matrix. No, the thing is, I remember like, and you know, if you ask like say our parents or our grandparents, what year was the Jetsons was supposed to take place in like 2005 or something? We were supposed to have flying cars. They're like, why can't it's going to be done? Like they've made so much, you know, like the gas mileage, and like we have, you know, better engines and all this shit. And it's like there's a limit. There is a limit. Like you can find new technologies, but there is a limit to what certain things can do. Like we're supposed to have flying cars right by now, like according to like our parents, our
And our
grandparents.
grandparents, yeah.
But that's not happening. There's gonna be roadblocks and like dead ends on technology, and what ends up happening is these companies and creative people that figure this shit out, they find a dead end and then they have to go around it and find a new technology to do it. And I just don't. There's not enough money for people that make songs in this industry. What the fuck makes you think that a huge trillion-dollar tech company is going to waste money trying to make songs?
Well, AI is not that good, man, because when you just said people and you were pissed, the cat thought you were laughing. So, not quite
I'm
there
glad you're
yet.
recording this.
I am so glad I'm recording this. I'm so glad that you have the cat as your image, because this turned into what makes the most amount of sense. Because honestly, Joseph, I was kind of like thinking about, like, I see where you're coming from. I think our biggest fear is kind of what Jake was talking about when it comes to, is this going to evolve to that point in time? But you kind of just leveled it out where the whole flying car bit, like, yeah, our grandparents thought they were going to have that. Our parents thought they were going to have that. And then I'm thinking about, like, are we ever going to have it? I'm like, I don't think we're ever going to have flying cars. I don't think it's necessarily possible. And if it is possible, how much further do we have to actually advance to get to that point? And if we're going to get to that point, especially with music, two things. One, it's going to have to be a sentient algorithm, but how long is it going to take that, if it's even possible? And secondly, you're right, when it comes to money in the music industry right now, what trillion-dollar company is going to want to put all their money into that? Because by the time they actually might get to that point, given how many roadblocks they might run into, money's just going to run out for them at that point, and it's never going to get done.
There's no money to be made.
Yeah, I mean,
End user is the one that would make. When is a company developing technology for the end user to like save money? Like that's not right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, hey,
don't happen.
now I don't have to buy a CD because I can input some shit and get free music that's customizable to my needs. What company wants to do that? Like,
yeah,
there's
true.
going to be
You're
lobbying and laws like put in place to stop that at all costs by all of the current interested parties, including us. But
Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
not going to happen.
It's not gonna
You
happen.
convinced me.
Yeah, you convinced us, man. I think we were both on the exact opposite of you, but
Fuck
man,
that.
you just
Fuck
fucking
it,
convinced
fuck
us.
it.
How do we get convinced by that? By Joseph, who is literally an AI cat right now. But it makes so much sense. This is one of the best podcasts I've ever done. Holy shit.
Jake, you know what? From now on, like when I have to like tell something like bad to like anyone in the industry, I'm gonna log on as this fucking cat. And
I think it'll work.
Oh my god!
I mean, that's kind of like the metaverse, though, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
that? I mean, it's a abandoned idea at this point. Although I think he's trying to get it back, and that's why the fucking stock crashed last couple of weeks ago. But I think, like, wasn't that the whole deal? Like, it's not like you're talking like human to human. You're just in your little avatars. So you probably could like tell the cat to go fuck himself,
Yeah, you
and
could
not
be
feel too bad about it.
Yeah, like your avatar could definitely be like a rendering of you, but then what's the fucking point? Just go walk around, punch
Right.
people wearing those glasses.
I remember that goofy shit, man, where it was like they did the Meta Ozfest. I think that was,
Oh my god.
God, that was, what a shitty idea Zuckerberg had there, man. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. That was fucked
It looked
up.
terrible too. Like it's too early for that. Like wait
Yeah,
until
way
it
too
looks
early.
good.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a hat, not even as great as The Sims. Like, make it look like the next GTA or some shit or anything that that kind of looks
Do you-
realistic. I don't know what the
Do
hell
you
is it?
remember? Do you remember that fucking game where people were like falling off cliffs because they were chasing those Pokemon?
Oh, Pokemon Go? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I just remember when Jake joined Iced Earth, like I was on tour in Spain with this like other band, and like it had just like really caught fire. And we're walking around like in Spain, and there's all these kids like bumping into each other and like tripping. Like you could just literally stand there and look around, and like people are losing their shit. It's like That's not, I
Yeah,
don't know,
it was
man.
weird too. I think they were trying to say that like that game helped people become more like social or like brought you to destinations. I don't know. I don't even know what the hell a Pokemon is. Like I remember when that so I didn't get anything into that game whatsoever. But
It's like
I know
Pikachu.
it was a big thing. Is it still a big thing now? I
No,
don't think in the States.
nowhere
but-
near as it was back in 2016. But it's like, yeah, it tried to bring people outside of their home and bring them together. But the thing is you're constantly staring at your phone to try and find
Right.
these things that pop up. And the only time you're connecting with someone that's actually in the like real is all of a sudden if you bump into them on accident, or everyone's trying to go for the same Pokemon. But if I ever was out there, because I was out there for like a week or two, it was my buddy always wanted to go. I'd talk to him, but no one else around you wanted to talk to you unless you knew them or for some
Mhm.
random circumstance. But the best
Someone
thing I
got
think
shot.
someone did get shot.
Someone, yeah. Like they shot someone because they were trying to get the same Pokemon.
What?
Yeah.
What,
There
do
it
you-
is.
what happens if you get a bunch of Pokemons? Like you get like a cash
Nothing.
prize or some shit?
Nothing. You retain your virginity. That's what they were like in the middle of the hood or something, and like they started fighting over the like Pokemon. It's like, you know, it's not even like it's like a hamburger that you can grab. It's a fucking make believe object. That, like when you put your hand in front of your phone, it shows that you grabbed it, but they're fighting over who was going to grab this thing. And then one of them pulled out a gun and shot the other one.
That
Wow.
Virginia line's gonna still kill me every time I listen through this episode. Oh my god! But just to kind of wrap this up, because we're kind of coming close to that time. But best thing I think is about like Jesse Joseph. What you brought up about this is, yeah, we have all this stuff with technology. There's a lot of things that can be done, and there's a lot of fear that can be brought up with it just based on what might be. But if we take a look back through history with what we thought the technological advances have been and what their like the impact was or what the results were, like the flying car thing. And you use the metaverse as well with the huge failure that ended up being, or the Google glasses or that Apple Vision Pro stuff. What's like, you take a look at it and it never really went as far as we thought it was going to, because maybe those, roadblocks were there. Maybe the human aspect just wasn't even there and you couldn't make it that far. So maybe with AI, it's still going to evolve. Yes. But is it going to evolve to the point where it completely eradicates songwriters? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, let's not forget, like people get into this music business for certain reasons, and AI fulfills none of them, you know?
Yes, that's true. I mean, there's always going to be people that are going to pick up a guitar or whatever instrument and create shit, because that's just in you, Same thing with like painters, I think they'll do it. Was that program you were talking about before, Dolly? Was that what it was, Joseph?
Oh, which one is that? Oh, you're talking about the one that creates the images?
Right.
It's Midjourney.
Oh, I never even heard of that one. Dolly's the one that I've heard of.
That's
Anyways,
the one
there's
that,
always going to be people that want to paint, people that want to write. I mean, you can't take that out of anybody. So there's always going to be those people.
I got one more thing to say.
Right.
People like all of us, right, that are like, we're doing something in music right now. Like when we were young, like we looked up to, like Slash or whatever, right? Or, different singers or different painters. Like, and it's just like sports. Like there's always been pretty realistic, like baseball games that you could play, and it doesn't require a stadium or skill or athletic ability or much money. But nobody's worshiping the fucking fake center fielder, like in the video game. Nobody, you know what I mean? People love their totems, right? Icons, like, that's why celebrities are a thing, even though some of them don't even do anything. Like they're people, and they're like they're templates that people want to, see themselves as. Nobody's gonna give a shit about us. Like, oh, this is the most meaningful song. It got me through my sister having cancer. Oh, who's it by? I don't know, this fucking computer. No, like there's no connection. And that's my last final word on the AI thing. Is like, art is supposed to be about human connection.
Mhm. I think
Except people still want to catch those Pokemon.
except people still want to catch those Pokemon.
Yeah.
But I think that's a perfect way to encapsulate this conversation. I mean, this was one of the most fantastic conversations we've ever had, especially because I've never talked about AI in this on this podcast like this, but this was over the top great. And for everyone out there, you're going to want to check out Witherfall even beyond this, because this was absolutely incredible. You want to get in deep with their music. So go script for the podcast, or just find Witherfall online, links and labels for everything there, especially when Sounds of Forgotten come out. You're going to want to check out the whole thing. So stream it, buy it, follow them online, go see a live show when they come near you, and get some merch as well. It's all going to be down the podcast. Now, guys, one other thing before we can say the, goodbye, see you later, that kind of stuff. I do need to see you live for the first time. And when I do, I will find you. I will come say hi, but first round's on me, guys.
Uh-oh.
Actually, because you've been on the podcast twice, first 2 rounds.
Oh, no.
We have to, Jesus, we're so fucked.
Yep.
Because especially if it's after a show, I probably already had 10 rounds. But
We'll make it 12 then.
we gotta send you a shirt to go with that fucking hoodie.
Yeah,
Oh.
brand new one, man.
Yeah. So make sure you get me your address again.
Will do. Yep, absolutely will do. So once again, thank you guys for joining the podcast. This is not goodbye, because I need to see you guys play live, and I love having you guys on the podcast. We'll do this once again at some point in the future. Hopefully not 3 years from now, maybe 2, maybe 1, hopefully sooner. But on that note, guys, thank you very much, and I'll see you later.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Well, folks, I'm interviewing with Joseph and Jake from the band Witherfall. Now it's time for Kevin's final thought. I am actually incredibly happy they went down the AI route on this one, because Joseph made an incredible point, made a couple of incredible points, and he turned Jake and I from being very convinced that, over the course of time, AI is going to become so very powerful, where they're going to have sentient algorithms, they're going to create music that are going to end up taking over and basically being what, everyone uses in the music industry. But what Joseph said had a couple of pieces of it. One, take a look back at history. We all thought we were going to have flying cars by now, but we still don't, and they're still not even viable. Our grandparents thought they were going to get these. So there's got to be some gap with technology. There's got to be something there. There's going to be some way where that's going to become public domain, because of the way AI currently is, it's all built about finding the past and building things off of pieces from the past, not trying to create something totally brand new where all these pieces had been found before. But what he said about the human connection to it, where people get into music, people get into art because it's not about the money. It's not about just the business side of it. It's about the passion and the absolute mental positivity it brings you. It made so much sense where people are still going to get into this. People are going to have that creativity to them. And it's still going to become a powerful thing. Of course, as technology evolves, technology ends up enhancing and changing the way we create music and we produce music. But when it comes to that overall human element, you cannot get rid of that. And Joseph made an incredible point there, and I'm so glad he did. And this is why having Witherfall back on the podcast is absolutely worth it. So go check them out. Go get into their stuff, because the depth that is to this, not this conversation, but the depth that this conversation had perfectly describes the depth they go to on this brand new album. So go check it out. Go to the podcast, where it says Find Witherfall online. Links, labels are everywhere. So go check them out. Go follow them. Make sure you go listen to the album as well. Come follow us on the Corporate Garage Podcast by hitting subscribe right down here on YouTube. And also hitting the follow button on Spotify Podcast if that is your pleasure. Also hit the like button right down here, or, the like button on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Help push us in the algorithm. Our socials are down below: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So go follow us there. And remember, we do these episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday. So we're going to keep bringing you the heat all year, all decade, for the rest of my time. I'm just going to keep doing it. So on that note, that's what you guys think for listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. So have a big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!